mainstream press is belatedly waking up to the fact that the UK government's official migration statistics, as compiled by the ONS, likely underreport real permanent immigration from the EU by at least 50% per year. For instance, ONS EU immigration stats since 2011 saw a net plus 1.1 million European Union migrants permanently settle in the UK. However, during the same time period, 2.2 million national insurance numbers were issued to European migrants. I've been flagging this huge persistent disparity in numbers for several years now that illustrates that the official immigration statistics just cannot be trusted. The most recent ONS release further illustrates this huge continuing disparity, as whilst the ONS states 270k EU migrants settled in the UK in the year to March 2016. However, during the same time period, 630,000 EU nationals applied for national insurance numbers necessary to claim in-work and other benefits, which is nearly 2.5 times the headline ONS statistics figure. To further break down the ONS statistic so as to get a truer sense at the scale and source of continuing mass immigration from the EU, reveals that Eastern Europe still accounts for the bulk of mass immigration, then Southern Europe, i.e. the pigs, and then nations outside of the EU. The top 5 EU nations NINO total for the year to March 2016 is 443k against an outside EU total of 83k. Therefore, EU migration comprises 84% of real mass migration underway today and illustrates the magnitude of the crises. So why is the discrepancy between NINO and official ONS statistics? Well, it all boils down to the Mr. Bean-esque methodology for measuring immigration, the passenger survey, which basically samples passengers entering the UK at its main ports and asks them if they are coming to the UK to visit or to stay. And that is how the ONS arrives at its magic fantasy number for the number of migrants permanently entering the UK, as those who say they are entering the UK for less than 12 months are not counted. So it's becoming apparent that most visitors from the EU tend to state that they are only visiting for less than 12 months, but instead end up settling permanently, given the huge disparity in wages and benefits between Britain and the whole of Eastern Europe, and thus the official statistics underreport real permanent immigration into Britain from the EU by at least 50%. Even Channel 4 News belatedly jumped onto the erroneous migration statistic bandwagon by showing permanently settled Polish migrants stating that if they'd been asked at the airport whether they were coming to the UK to settle or just visit, then they would have said no, they are not coming to the UK to permanently settle, despite having done so. You may be able to see the story on the YouTube channel. And to make matters worse, the national insurance numbers don't include the self-employed, i.e. all those Polish builders, so the true extent of mass EU migration could easily be running at 100k per annum, higher even than that which the NINO suggests. The bottom line is that the ONS migration statistics are not fit for purpose, as I've been warning of for some years now. So instead of the most recent ONS statistics implying that net migration is running at 333k per annum, the truth could be closer to near twice the number as NINO number of 630k implies. It translates into an extra 2.5 million mouths to feed by 2020, as the UK population homes in on 70 million, with dire consequences for all aspects of life in Britain, from employment to schooling to social services such as health, and not forgetting the housing crises. EU referendum forecast. And here is my forecast conclusion after over a year's analysis comprising well over 120 articles and over a dozen videos, which is for a Leave victory on 23rd of June of 51.3% against 48.7%, a winning margin of just 1.5%. But to achieve this victory, then all Brexiteers need to further intensify their efforts, because as things stand today, Remain is probably just marginally ahead, with less than 1% between Remain and Leave, on an estimated 50.4% for Remain against 49.6% for Leave. So there is still a lot of hard work to be done in these last few days to achieve a Leave Brexit outcome. Do see the forecast analysis at the linked article, and also consider supporting our Brexit campaign in this final push towards June 23rd. For more on the immigration crisis, see my next video on why people are migrating to the UK and its dire consequences. Also subscribe to this YouTube channel to be notified of new videos in this series.